AI has really shifted that conversation away from the metaverse. Elon Musk working through a very public midlife crisis. Half of all cryptocurrencies have failed. Meta are still doing a very good job at dropping the ball. Old people be getting scammed all the goddamn time. You should be paying attention to the future of the metaverse.
Kia ora and welcome back to 5 Reasons Why. In our last episode, we did a very quick retrospective on our PSVR 2 is in trouble episode. Admittedly, not really a hot button issue in 2024, but I needed to remember how to edit a video. And good news, guys, nailed it. In our second ever episode, I gave you 5 reasons why you should be paying attention to the rise of the metaverse and what it would mean for the future. Now, in early 2022, the hottest tech news included the New York Times buying Wordle, this crypto bro getting caught with his hand in the virtual cookie jar, and Elon Musk working through a very public midlife crisis by buying Twitter.
You kind of said, I actually don't want to buy Twitter anymore. Then you changed your mind again and decided to buy it. Did you do that? Did you do that?
I kind of had to.
Right. Did you do that because you thought that a court would make you do that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that is the reason.
It's alright, guys, he's figured it out now, he's fine. Jesus. The metaverse also appeared to be hitting its stride, with companies just dropping the word meta left, right, and center to stay relevant. Facebook going so far as to rebrand to Meta because reasons. But overall, the metaverse looked like it was gonna be a slam dunk. Or was it? In early 2023, generative AI kicked down the door like Matthew McConaughey looking for a lost herd of Lincolns, and companies like Google, Microsoft, and Meta pulled a swift 180 to get on board the AI hype train. Google was so desperate to stay relevant, they rushed their own generative AI to market with some, let's say, slightly dubious advertising.
Bard is given the prompt, quote, "What new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, can I tell my 9-year-old about?" Bard responds with a number of answers, including one suggesting the JWST was used to take the very first pictures of a planet outside the Earth's solar system, or exoplanets. This is inaccurate. The first pictures of exoplanets were taken by the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in 2004, as confirmed by NASA.
Google, you want to get away with it too. If you didn't happen to be advertising to the demographic that classes astrophotography and generative AI as interests on their dating profiles. Now look, I could have done an entire episode on AI just by itself. Hell, at one point I entertained the idea of this just being a review channel, specifically targeted at AI videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti. But let's leave AI to the side for now. Let's focus on the future of the metaverse. Let's take a look at everything we got right, everything we got wrong, and everything else in our last episode about why you should be paying attention to the future of the metaverse. In the race for who should own the metaverse, Meta are still doing a very good job at dropping the ball on what should have been a very easy win. For a company that is so good at copying other kids' homework, they still haven't implemented a virtual social space that people actually want to use. We pointed out that shared virtual spaces have been around for decades now. It shouldn't be hard to look at what the good ones did and just, do that. Do the same thing. Given this, along with their VR headsets, is system critical for Meta realizing their version of the metaverse. It's kind of important that they get this right. To really cement how badly this is going for Meta, you just have to look at how many people they hired and how many they let go. Over 10,000 people they brought on to help them build their vision for the metaverse. And 12 months later, they were firing that many people, plus more. But guess what? They're still winning. They're somehow still winning. They're still the most likely candidates to build a functioning metaverse one day. Nothing on the scale that Zuckerberg has set out to do is being done by anybody else. You would be very hard pressed to try and find a direct competitor. Roblox and Fortnite are the next closest to having some sort of a decentralized platform. Something I can only assume they've achieved by taking the collective GDP of every teenage boy on the planet and filtering it straight back into their games. So with Meta seemingly pausing their push into the metaverse to focus on generative AI, we're gonna have to wait and see if someone will come along and crack the metaverse, or will we simply be at the mercy of Epic's endless IP library? Hey, at least Fortnite has Lego. Scams are still a thing, and we predicted that the metaverse would make them worse. And yeah, sure did. I hear you saying, of course it did. When does the introduction of new sophisticated technology to elderly, inexperienced, naive people, aka your grandparents, work out well? Yeah, I know that. That's why I picked it. I just had to fill in the gaps. I didn't even have to do any research because, you know, old people be getting scammed all the goddamn time. We talked about an NFT marketplace called OpenSea, who at the time were trying to decide what to do about stolen and fraudulent NFTs flooding their marketplace. Well, since then I am pleased to report that they have introduced firm and easy to understand guidelines that allow for a fraud-free environment. Of fucking course they didn't. Of course they didn't. They flip-flopped hard on policy, introduced the world's first NFT insider trading case, all while their platform and their customers were targeted by phishing scams. As I already mentioned, this piece of shit went to prison for pocketing over $10 billion. And if you're slightly confused and can't figure out why a rich white guy actually got sent to prison, well, that's quite simple. You see, he stole from other rich white people, which, as you might understand, means
right to jail.
And NFTs, well, they're not worth the paper that they weren't printed on. Cryptocurrencies are still a thing. Well, some of them are, anyway. Depending on where you look, half of all cryptocurrencies have failed, and half of all crypto value is held solely in Bitcoin. Not a great percentage if you're looking for stable income. Great numbers, though, if you're on your third marriage. I crowed on about the metaverse providing a whole new set of jobs in a virtual world, jobs that don't even exist yet. Yeah, turns out I missed the mark on that one, just a little bit. Early in 2021, Meta said they were gonna hire 10,000 staff to build their vision for the metaverse, and by the end of that same year, they also fired 10,000 staff, with potentially another 10,000 more to come in what Zuckerberg referred to as their year of efficiency, which I assume refers to how fast he'll now get his kale, beetroot, and activated charcoal smoothie from the Meta juice bar. Cause, you know, nobody works there anymore, so no line. He doesn't have to wait, so it's efficient. Fast. But hey, you know what? All is not lost. Meta could still make that target. We're not at the end of that 5 years. They just need to hire the entire population of the British Virgin Islands. They'll be right back on track. Now, unfortunately, it's not just Meta that are cutting their staffing numbers. This has been symptomatic of the entire tech industry of late. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have been lost from the tech industry in the last year alone. And that's despite record profits for many of these companies. Strange that. So I was looking at taking a really hard L on this whole Meta jobs thing. That wasn't until halfway through writing this, IKEA, of all companies, came and saved my ass. That's right, IKEA are hiring 10 people to staff their virtual store inside of Roblox. Now, don't get me wrong, 10 people is clearly not enough to save the entire ailing tech job market. Hell, it's not even the suggested number of people needed to assemble an IKEA calyx shelving unit. But that's not the point. It means I'm only like 99% wrong on the whole Meta jobs thing, but it's new and it's interesting and it's a start. We looked at how new technology might take the keyboard out of the keyboard warrior, how the inclusion of real-world mannerisms and human-like interaction might make the metaverse a less hostile place. Nope. People are still dicks. Meta, along with several other VR apps, were forced to add in virtual barriers to resolve issues with, let's say, physical contact. Children are everywhere in VR and they are annoying, but that's not the actual problem. Unfortunately, that hasn't gone unnoticed by people with ulterior motives, and if you don't quite understand what I mean, go have a look why the Yahoo chat rooms were shut down. The good thing is, with the start of the metaverse, there is still time to address some of these things. Online underage grooming is already a massive issue. If you add VR to the mix, you're looking at scars that are going to take a lot longer to heal. Look, it's hard to say what will become of the metaverse. What's clear is, right now, AI has really shifted that conversation away from the metaverse on just about every front that it touches. Companies have moved money into AI and away from the metaverse. Even industries that aren't usually involved in big tech are having to rewrite their AI adoption clauses to make sure that jobs are protected.
The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines.
And you know shit's getting real when you have to call in the nanny to stop the AI uprising? Hey, I wanted to end this on a positive note, because this channel isn't always about depressing news. That's why CNN exists. It's not all doom and gloom. Project Dawn and their robot cafe in Tokyo are still operating now with over 60 trained pilots. A great example of what a digital world could mean to people unable to join a normal human-centric workforce. Ideas like this, combined with virtual jobs like we are seeing from IKEA, or even not everyone's cup of tea, VTubers, which can provide jobs for those who are otherwise unable to take part in a physical workplace, prove that this is a tangible jobscape and that the metaverse done right can be good. So that's it for our look back on our metaverse episode. It's kind of hard to gauge how well we did when a giant pause button has been pressed on the whole metaverse idea. So while everyone continues to try and figure out what the fuck they want to do with AI, let's just say TBC on the future of the metaverse. Despite the first 4 episodes being about some of the nerdiest shit you'll ever hear on video, we're not actually a tech channel. It's not what I want to talk about all the goddamn time. So, on our next episode, which will be our first full episode, we're gonna be talking about travel and why you should be doing the travel, why you should be traveling. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, you know the deal. Have a great day. Kakite ano.